If your cost per book call is under $100, but your closer is saying the leads are garbage, you are optimizing for the wrong metric, and it's costing you way more money than you think. In this video, I'm going to show you why cheap leads are killing your business and how to fix your funnel to attract qualified buyers who actually show up and close. And I'm going to start with one funnel change that took a client from spending $10,000 a month to close 2 deals to spending the same amount of money, $10,000, to close 10 deals. Same ad spend, 5 times more deals closed, all because we stopped optimizing for cost per call and started optimizing for cost per qualified book call. Now, quick heads up, before we get into it, what I'm about to share today is just one of the dozens and dozens of ways to improve lead quality. There is a lot more that goes into this, but I am saving the rest for actual paying clients out of respect for the people we work with. So what you're getting here is valuable, but it's not everything. Anyways, let's get right into it. Quick context, I have had the privilege to manage over $87 million of ad spend, working with top brands and info product brands in the space. Hell, I even worked with brands like Amazon.com and also Polymarket. And the single biggest lesson I have learned across all of those accounts is this: cost per book call is a vanity metric. What actually matters is cost per qualified book call, your show rates, and also your close rates. You can have a $50 cost per call and lose money if those people are unqualified. Or you can have a $300 cost per call and print cash because those people are hyper qualified. The difference is lead quality. And lead quality comes down to 3 things: your ICP callouts, your funnel structure, and your qualification flow. So this is what this video is all about. So here is what most people do. They run ads, they optimize for the lowest cost per lead or the lowest cost per call, and they celebrate when they hit a $30 or a $50 or an $80 cost per book call. Then they get on the sales calls and realize the leads have no money, they have no urgency, and they have no idea why they even booked. Their closer is absolutely pissed and their show rate is terrible. Their close rate is in single digits and they are spending $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month just to break even or to even lose money. And when they ask for help, someone tells them to run more ads, test new creatives, or hire a better closer. But the problem is not the ads, not the creatives, or the closer. The problem is the leads you're attracting in the first place. Cheap leads are not a win. They are a tax on your time, your team, and your sanity. And the worst part is you are paying for every single one of them. So here is the shift that you have to make. Stop optimizing for cost per call and start optimizing for cost per qualified call. Stop chasing volume and start chasing quality. And the way you do that is by upgrading your ICP callouts, adding the right friction to your funnel, and building out a qualification flow that routes leads based on their actual readiness to buy. In this video, I'm going to break down a few of the exact strategies we use to generate 40 to 50 qualified book calls per day for clients doing over $1 million per month. And I'm going to show you 3 layers of qualification that filter out tire kickers to attract serious buyers. And I'm going to give you the exact funnel structure and questionnaire flow we use so you can copy and paste this for yourself. But again, this is just a few tactics out of the dozens and dozens of strategies we implement for our clients. There's a lot more that goes into lead quality, but what I am sharing here will move the needle if you implement it correctly. So let us start with the first layer, ICP callouts. All right, the first thing you need to understand about getting qualified leads is this: the revenue you call out in your messaging is not the revenue you get. Let me explain. If you run an ad that says, "Are you a cosmetic practice owner making $100,000 per month?" you're not going to get people making $100,000 a month plus and above. You're going to get people making $100,000 a month per month and below. The actual average is going to be somewhere around 60 to 70% of whatever number you call out. So if your call out is $100,000 per month, your average lead is probably making around $60,000 to $70,000. If you call out a $50,000 per month call out, your average lead is probably making between $30,000 to $35,000. This is huge because most people are calling out revenue numbers that are way too low for their actual ICP. So here is a quick fix. If your true ICP is making $50,000 per month, you need to call out $75,000 to $100,000 per month in your messaging. This anchors expectations higher and filters for people who are closer to your actual targets. Example, instead of, are you a coach or a consultant making at least $25,000 per month, say, are you a coach or consultant currently doing $50,000 to $100,000 per month? Same targeting, but now the people who click and book are making way more money on average. This is the first layer of ICP callouts. Anchor higher than your actual target to get the right average. Now, this is just one tactic for improving lead quality through messaging. There are dozens of other ways to refine ICP callouts, but this is one of the highest impact changes you can make right now. All right, the second layer is offer positioning, and this is where most people screw up. Here is what we have found after managing tens of millions of dollars on ads for high ticket offers. Rich people want done for you, not done with you or DIY like a course. So even if your core offer is done with you or a hybrid model, your front-facing messaging should anchor done for you. Why? Because it filters out for people who have money and want someone else to handle it all for them. People who are attracted to DIY or courses are typically lower ticket buyers. They do not have the budget for high ticket services and they are not serious about getting results fast. But people who are attracted to done for you, they have money. They value their time and they are ready to invest. Now here's the strategy. You anchor high with done for you offer at least $50,000 to $100,000, but most people will buy your mid-tier offer at $15,000 to $25,000, and that is completely fine. Actually, that is the goal. Because when you anchor high, the mid-ticket offer feels like a steal. It's easier to sell someone down from $50K to $20,000 than it is to sell from $3,000 to $20,000. The psychology is completely different. If you lead with a $300 course and then try to pitch them a $20,000 done for you offer on the call, then that feels like a bait and switch. But if you lead with a $50,000 done for you offer and then offer them a $20,000 hybrid model, then they feel like they're getting a deal. So here is the rule. Always anchor your messaging on the highest ticket. Most done for you offers, even most people will buy your mid-ticket offer. It pre-qualifies the right people and makes your core offer easier to sell. Again, this is just one way we position offers to improve lead quality. There is a lot more nuances to offer positioning that I work through with my clients, but this will get you 80% of the way there. All right, now let's talk about messaging strategy across your creatives. This is something most people do not even think about, but it has a massive impact on lead quality. So we structure our creative strategy around the 5 stages of awareness: the unaware, problem aware, solution aware, product aware, and also most aware. And here is the key. The quality of leads from each stage is very different. The highest quality leads come from problem aware and also solution aware stages. These are people who know they have a problem. They know there is a solution, and they are actively looking for someone to help them. Lower quality leads come from the unaware and also the product aware stages. Unaware people do not even know they have a problem yet, so they're not even ready to buy. Product aware people know about your specific product, but might not be ready to commit yet. And most aware people already know everything about you, so they're either going to buy or they're not. There's not much you can do to move the needle here. But here's how we allocate our creative budget. For clients spending $3,000 to $5,000 per day, we allocate maybe 20 to 30% of the creatives to unaware stages because they have the budget to expand their TAM and test broader audiences. But for clients spending $5,000 to $30,000 per month, we allocate 0 to 10% to unaware and 60 to 80% to problem aware and also solution aware. Why? Because when you have a smaller budget, you cannot afford to waste on educating people who are not ready to buy. You need to focus on people who already are looking for a solution. So here is a quick action step. Audit your current creatives and figure out what stage of awareness they are targeting. If most of your ads are unaware or product aware and you are on a tight budget, this is why your leads are garbage. So shift your creative allocation to problem and also solution aware, and your lead quality will improve overnight. Now, this is just a high-level framework for creative allocation. There are dozens of other ways to optimize creatives for lead quality, things like hook structures, bridge frameworks, CTA positioning, and all of that. But I'm gonna save the advanced stuff for paying clients out of respect for people we work with. All right, now let's talk about funnel structure, because this has a massive impact on lead quality. So we usually test 2 landing page types for every client: short scroll and also a long scroll. So let me break it down on the differences and when to use each. A short scroll page has 4 elements: a pre-headline, a headline, a post-headline, a VSL, and a CTA. That is it and nothing else. Very, very short. The goal is to get people to watch the VSL and book in a call. No distractions and no extra information. So this works well when you want volume and you have a strong VSL that does a lot of the heavy lifting. The pros: higher booking rates because there is only one action to take. Lower cost per call because more people convert. And the cons is slightly lower lead quality on average because people are not spending time educating themselves, they're just watching a video and then clicking a button. A long scroll page has everything the short scroll has, plus case studies, FAQs, information about the founder, who this is for and who this is not for, and more social proof. The goal here is to educate and pre-frame before they book, so people who do book are way more qualified. The pros: higher quality leads because people are spending 5 to maybe 8 minutes reading and educating themselves before they book, on top of watching the VSL, which equates to higher show rates and close rates because they already know what to expect. The cons: higher cost per call because fewer people will sit through all that content and book. So which one should you use? Well, it depends on your offer, your AOV, and your ICP, and also your close rates. If your close rate is already high and your closer is good at handling objections, use the short scroll to maximize volume. If your close rate is low and your closer is getting objections they cannot handle, use the long scroll to pre-frame and also to filter. Or do what we do, we run both and let the data decide. So split your ad spend 50-50 between short and long scroll, track your cost per qualified call and your close rate for each, and then scale the winner. This is how you optimize for quality without guessing. Now, there are tons of other landing page optimizations we make for our clients, things like above the fold elements, trust signals, video length, CTA placement, and all of that. But this short scroll versus long scroll test is the fastest way to improve lead quality on your landing page. All right, now we are getting into one of the most important parts of the entire video, which is the qualification questionnaire. This is where you actually filter leads in real time and route them based on their readiness to buy. So here is the exact structure that we use. The first question is an ICP confirmation, and it is designed to make sure they are in the right category before they even go any further throughout the questionnaire. Example: are you a founder or a CEO of a high-ticket coaching or consulting business looking to scale past $100,000 per month? You want to insert ICP plus pre-frame the end result that they want. If they say yes, they continue throughout the logic. If they say no, you route them based on a different offer or just disqualify them completely. This filters out 30 to 40% of unqualified leads right out of the gate. The second question is a revenue qualifier, and it tells you if they have the money to afford your offer. Example: what is your current MRR, or what is your current salary, what's your current income? So some options can be under 10,000, 10 to 25, 25 to 50, 50 to 100,000, and $100,000 plus, but this depends on each industry. For B2B, people typically lie. For B2C, it's really good when it comes to salary questions. So based off their answers, you can route them to different closers or different offers. If they are unqualified, let's say under $10,000, they might not be ready for a $20,000 offer, so you send them to a low ticket or a DQ or a long-term nurture sequence. If they are qualified above $50,000, they're primed for your core offer, so you can send them to your best closer. The third question is an ad spend qualifier. This is what we personally use, and it tells if they are ready to invest in their growth. Example: how much are you currently spending on ads per month? So not running ads, 5K, 5 to 10, 10 to 30, and 30K plus. This is huge because people who are already spending money on ads are way more likely to spend money with you. If they are not running ads at all, they might not even have the budget or urgency to invest in your offer. The fourth question is a pain point qualifier, and it tells you what problem they are trying to solve. Here's an example. What is your biggest challenge with your current funnel? Options: lead quality, show rates, cost per call, close rates, scaling ad spend. So this gives your closer context before the call so they can personalize the pitch and handle objections before they even come up. And the fifth question is a pricing disclosure, especially for B2B. And this is where you filter out for budgets. Example: our programs start at $15,000 and go up to $50,000 depending on your business and your goals. Are you prepared to invest at that level if this is a right fit? Options: yes, I'm ready to invest. Maybe I need to learn, or I need financing, or no, that is completely out of budget. If they say yes, just go straight to the best closer. If they say maybe, just go to like a long-term nurture sequence or a less experienced closer. If they say no, you reroute them to a downsell, or you can just reroute them to a booking page with a no thank you page without the pixel code, or even just collect their information for a long-term follow-up. So here is how the routing works. Qualified leads, like high revenue, spending money on ads, ready to invest, they book with your A-team closer. And mid-qualified leads, decent revenue, some ad spend, maybe a budget or so, and they book with the B-team closer or go into like a long-term nurture sequence. And for unqualified leads, like low revenue, no ad spend, not ready to invest, they go to a downsell or DQ offer or go into your CRM for long-term nurture. So this is the routing logic, is what separates a $50 cost per call with a 10% close rate to a $250 cost per call with a 40% close rate. You're not just booking calls, you're routing quality. Now there is a lot of more layers to this. We have different questionnaire structures for different niches, which is very important. Different qualification flows, different disqualification sequences, and all of that. But what I just shared is the baseline structure that will immediately improve your lead quality if you implement it. All right, now let me give you the framework for thinking about cost per qualified call so you can model this out for your own business. So here is the math. Let us say you are spending $10,000 a month on ads. If you are optimizing for cheap calls, you might get 200 book calls at $50 each. But if only 30% of those calls are actually qualified, you really have 60 qualified calls at a true cost of $167 per qualified call. And if your show rate is 40%, only 24 of those 60 are actually showing up. So your true cost per qualified show is $147. So your true cost per qualified showed call is $417. And if your close rate is 15%, you're closing 3 to 4 deals. At a $5,000 ticket, that is $15,000 to $20,000 in revenue on $10,000 in ad spend. That is a 1.5 to a 2x ROAS, which is not bad, but it's not great either. And it's probably not profitable after you factor in your team and also your overhead. So now let us compare that to optimizing for quality. Same $10,000 in ad spend, but now your cost per call is $200. So you're only getting 50 book calls, but 80% of them are qualified. So you have 40 qualified calls at a true cost per call at $250. Your show rate is 70%, so 28 out of those 40 are showing up. And your close rate is 35%, so you're closing 9 to 10 deals. At a $5,000 ticket, that's $45,000 to $50,000 in revenue on $10,000 in ad spend. That's a 4.5 to a 5x cash collect ROAS, which is insanely profitable. So same ad spend, way better results, all because you optimize for quality instead of cost. So here is the framework. Track your cost per call, but also track your qualification rate, your true cost per qualified call, your show rate, your cost per showed call, and your close rate. Those are the metrics that actually matter. And if you're not tracking any of them, you are flying completely blind. All right, before I wrap this up, let me address the 3 most common objections and mistakes I see when people try to implement this. Number 1, if I add friction, my cost per call will go up and I will not be able to scale. Yes, your cost per call will go up, but your cost per qualified book call will go down. And your close rate will go higher because more people are qualified, which means you make way more money. So scaling is not about getting more calls. It's about getting more revenue per dollar spent. So if you can spend $10,000 and make $50,000 back, you can scale that way easier than spending $10,000 to make only $20,000 or less. So focus on the math because that actually matters. Number 2, my closer is complaining that we do not have enough sales calls. It's simple, and get your closer to close more of the qualified calls they do have on their calendar. So if you're booking 10 qualified calls per week and only closing 2, the problem is not the volume, it is the close rate. Fix the close rate first and scale the volume. Don't just throw more garbage leads, like unqualified leads, at a closer who is already struggling. Number 3, I tried adding a VSL and my cost per lead went through the roof. Good. That means it's working. Your cost per lead is supposed to go up when you add friction because you're filtering out unqualified people. What you need to measure is cost per qualified lead, your show rate, and also your close rates. If those metrics improve, who cares if your cost per lead went from $20 to $80 if those leads are hyper qualified? You're just making way more money. Now let's talk about mistakes, like adding friction without upgrading your messaging. So if your messaging is still generic and you just add a bunch of questions to your form, you're gonna kill your conversion rate and not improve lead quality. This is very, very dangerous. You need both. You need better messaging and smart friction. Mistake number 2, not tracking qualification rate. If you do not know what percentage of your book calls are actually qualified, you have no idea if your funnel is working. Track it, measure it, and optimize for it. That is very, very important. Mistake number 3, giving up way too goddamn early. When you shift from optimizing for cost per lead, or like the lowest cost, to optimizing for quality, like lead quality, or cost per qualified book call, your numbers will look worse for the first few weeks. Your cost per call will go up, your lead volume will go down, and you might panic. Do not, be patient. Give it 14, 21, 30 days, let the data come in, and then look at your cost per qualified call, your show rate, and your close rates. If those are improving, like your cost per qualified call is going down, your show rate is going up, your close rate is going up, that means it's improving and you are on the right track. All right, so let me give you a simple checklist so you can use to audit your funnel and figure out where you are leaking quality. Question number 1, are you calling out a revenue level that is 30 to 50% higher than your actual target ICP? If not, raise your revenue call out to anchor expectations higher. Question number 2, is your front-facing offer positioned as done for you, even if your core offer is done with you, or if you're selling a course, DIY? If not, reposition your messaging to anchor your highest ticket offer. Question number 3, are 60 to 80% of your creatives targeting problem or solution-aware audiences? If not, shift your creative allocation away from unaware and also product aware, unless your ad spend is more than $50,000 per month. Question number 4, are you testing both short scroll and also long scroll landing pages? You typically want to do this at the beginning, but if you have a lot of data on long and short scroll, you don't have to test it out based on how much data and ad spend that you have. Question number 5, does your questionnaire include revenue, ad spend, and pricing disclosure questions with routing logic? If not, rebuild your type form to route leads based off qualification level. If you can answer yes to all 5 of those questions, your funnel is in better shape. If you are answering no to any of them, then that is where you need to focus. Again, this is just a handful of ways to improve lead quality. There are dozens and dozens of other tactics we implement for our clients, but these 5 will get you the biggest lift right now. All right, let's do a quick recap. The best way to get qualified book calls in 2026 is to stop optimizing for cost per call and start optimizing for cost per qualified call. Hell, don't even optimize for CPL. You want to also anchor your ICP revenue callouts 30 to 50% higher than your actual target to attract the right baseline. And also position your offer as done for you to filter out people with more money and also urgency. And also allocate 60 to 80% of your creatives to problem-aware and solution-aware stages, not unaware. Test both short scroll and also long scroll landing pages and let the data decide which converts better. And also build a qualification questionnaire with ICP confirmation, revenue, ad spend, pain point, and pricing disclosure questions, and route leads based off their readiness to buy. Track cost per qualified call, your qualification rate, your show rate, your close rate, not just CPL or cost per call. And avoid the 3 biggest mistakes: adding friction without upgrading messaging, not tracking qualification rate, and giving up too early. Cheap leads are not a win. They are a tax on your business. Start filtering for quality and your revenue will follow. And remember, what I shared today is just a few of the dozens and dozens of ways to improve lead quality. There's a lot more that goes into this, but I'm saving the advanced strategies for paying clients out of respect for people we work with. Now, if you implement what I just shared, your lead quality will improve, your close rates will go up, and your revenue will scale. But there's one more piece to this puzzle that I did not cover in this video, which is what happens after someone books the call. Because even if you're generating perfect qualified leads, if your post-booking system is broken, half of them will no-show. So I covered that entire system in my last video. The link is in the description. Go watch that next. And if you found this helpful, subscribe. I'm breaking down what actually works for VSL call funnels in 2026. No fluff, no hype, it's just systems that make you money. And again, what I share on this channel is valuable, but it's just a fraction of what we implement for our clients. If you want the full system, you know where to find me. Drop a comment if you have any questions. I will answer what I can. Anyways, see you in the next one. Much love and take care. Peace.